All right. What's up, everybody? All my people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, all the way to Staten Island, and my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at another video. This is going to be an entry into a series I haven't updated in a long time. The Best to Never Win It series, where I cover the greatest teams ever to never win a title or get to the title game in NFL history. And this one's going to be on the 2001 St. Louis Rams. Let's get into it. Now, 2 years prior, 1999, we all know the story. Trent Green get hurt in the preseason. An unknown guy named Kurt Warner comes in, who's league MVP, and the Rams go on to win the Super Bowl after Mike Jones tackled Titans wide receiver Kevin Dyson on the 1 yard line. Okay, to secure a 23-16 Rams victory, and Kurt Warner was named Super Bowl MVP. Going in 2000, the Rams started out 6-0. Then Kurt Warner gets hurt, and they struggle, but they finished season 10-6, and they had to play a playoff game against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans, and they were upset by the Saints. Now, granted, I know the Saints were the home team, but come on. The Saints against the greatest show on turf, the 2006, we all know the Rams were probably the favorite, but hey, it is what it is. So going into 2001, the Rams were a team on the mission. Team on a mission to get back to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, and solidify their place in NFL history as not only one of the great offenses, but one of the great teams of all time. Win 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, that's damn near impossible. I mean, we've had teams do it, but it's not easy. But, the Rams still had Kurt Warner. Finished that 2001 season, throwing for 4,830 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, led the league, and a 68.7% completion percentage on his way to win the league MVP. Marshall Faulk, future Hall of Famer, who rushed for 1,382 yards, 12 touchdowns, also caught 83 passes for 765 and 9 touchdowns, and went on to win his 3rd consecutive Offensive Player of the Year after being named league MVP in 2000. Marshall Faulk is probably the greatest all-around complete running back in NFL history, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but you can argue Marshall Faulk as the greatest running back in NFL history. I don't give a damn what anybody says. You can argue that if you really wanted to. And of course, the Rams still had their dynamic duo of Isaac Bruce and Torry Holt. Isaac Bruce had 69 catches for 1,106 yards, 6 touchdowns. Torry Holt had 81 catches for 1,363 yards and 7 touchdowns. The offensive line was anchored by future Hall of Famer left tackle Orlando Pace. He also had Ricky Proehl and Azahir Hakim as complement receivers to Isaac and Torrey. Defensively, the Rams were better in 01 than they were in 99, in my opinion. You had Dre Bly, who led the team with 6 interceptions. Future Hall of Famer and veteran Aeneas Williams, who after years of being in Arizona, stinking, he went to the St. Louis Rams. He had 4 interceptions. Their pass rusher, Leonard Little, had 14.5 sacks, and London Fletcher led the team in tackles with 119 combined tackles. London Fletcher is one of the most underrated linebackers of the last 20 years, mainly because he played in the same era as Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, and Derek Brooks, 3 first-ballot Hall of Famers. 2 of them are Super Bowl champions. Anyway, all of us who remember London Fletcher, we remember how great he was. The Rams finished that season at 14-2 and were 6-2 at home and 8-0 on the road. The Rams were 8-0 on the road. They were undefeated on the road. They were a better road team than they were a home team. I mean, to me, that's far more impressive than being, undefeated at home. Now, of course, being undefeated at home is important. That's great. That's a great accomplishment. But being 8-0 on the road, that's just as impressive. Now, slightly a little more. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But another interesting stat, the Rams played 6 teams in the regular season who made the playoffs. The Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. Beat them. They played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and lost to them. It's all right. It is what it is. Another team they played in the regular season that they would later meet on, the New England Patriots, who they defeated in Foxborough. And after the game, Mike Martz said that the Patriots were the best team they had played to that point, and that was the Super Bowl team. Yeah, you're right about that, Mike. You were right about that. Anyway, after going 14-2, finishing with the number 1 ranked offense and the 7th ranked defense, the Rams, of course, got the number 1 seed and finished and got a home field advantage out the playoffs and got a wild card weekend bye. And in wild card weekend, the team they faced was future Hall of Famer Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. And Brett Favre, look, God bless Brett Favre, 3 straight MVPs, first ballot Hall of Famer, all-century team member, great player. Brett Favre probably had the worst playoff game of his career, the worst game period, regular season or postseason, in his career, and probably of any quarterback in the Hall of Fame, he probably had the worst playoff game ever. Brett Favre threw 6, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 interceptions. 6 of them. Aeneas Williams picked off 2 of them, returned them for touchdowns, and a guy named Tommy Poyle returned one for a touchdown. Brett Favre, God bless him, was abysmal. Was horrible. Okay? Meanwhile, Kurt Warner went 18 of 30 for 216 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, talk about getting outdueled. Good Lord have mercy. Anyway, the Rams were going to the NFC Championship game. They were hosting it, and coming to visit them was the Philadelphia Eagles, who they had manhandled in the regular season. And now they were down the Rams kind of got down early. The Eagles were getting some momentum with their third-year starter, Donovan McNabb. But then Marshall Faulk ran them back into the game. He carried the ball 31 times for 159 and 2 touchdowns. Marshall Faulk is, he's... People talk about Terrell Davis being the best postseason running back in NFL history. To me, Marshall Faulk is right there. And I love Terrell Davis, but I would take Marshall just because Marshall is a little more versatile than TD. But TD was astounding too. But Marshall literally ran them to the Super Bowl. Probably could have ran them to a Super Bowl title had Mike Martz been a little smarter. But hey, we'll get to that later. And with Kurt Warner went 22 of 33 for 212 and 1 touchdown. Isaac Bruce caught 8 passes for 89 yards and a touchdown. And the St. Louis Rams were on their way back to the Super Bowl. They were going to Marshall Faulk's hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana, to face the New England Patriots. And the Patriots, Belichick had figured out a game plan how to defeat the Rams. Beat the living hell out of the receivers in the backs. Beat up Isaac, beat up Torrey, Isaac Hakeem, Ricky Proehl, Marshall Faulk. Just hit him. Now, of course, 20 years later, that game plan wouldn't work. Or it might still be able to work, but, of course, back in 2001, you could be more physical than you can today. And then Kurt Warner threw an early interception to Ty Law to give the Patriots the lead. Should have said, like I said, if Mike Martz had handed the ball off to Marshall Faulk a couple more times, they probably would have won this game. Because I'm sorry, I don't think the Patriots could stop Marshall. Because all Bill Belichick did was take away the passing game. Mike Martz loved to throw the football far more than he loved to run it. If you just hand the ball, you just handed the ball a couple more times, you probably could have won. The outcome would have been different. It probably would have been 2017 Rams or 23-20 Rams instead of 2017 New England. But Kurt Warner hit Ricky Proehl, and then he ran a touchdown in to tie the game at 17-17. And then a young quarterback named Tom Brady led the Patriots down the field and set up this Adam Vinatieri game-winning field goal, and the Patriots won 20-17. And that was the end of the St. Louis Rams as we knew them. The next year they started out like 0-5, and they ended up missing the playoffs. 0-3, Mark Bulger, however you pronounce his last name, was the starter. They get back to the playoffs, but lose to the Steve Smith Panthers. Marshall Faulk gets dinged up and eventually hangs him up after 0-5. Isaac Bruce, he left. Torrey left. Kurt Warner, of course, left. And that was the end of the Rams as we knew and loved them. One of the greatest teams in NFL history to never win a title, the 0-1 Rams. But I'll say this. It's kind of hard to feel sorry for them because, essentially the same Rams squad won in 99. You had Kurt, Marshall, Isaac, Torrey, Orlando Pace, Dre Bly, it was kind of the same team. The only difference was Aeneas Williams and a couple other players. But, hey, like I said, the 0-1 Rams, one of the greatest teams ever won the Super Bowl. Do you agree? Tell them in the comment section down below. Click the like button, subscribe, help me go on YouTube, turn on the notification bell. See you all.